Good day, everyone. This is the fourth lesson in reading and writing skills, in which I will discuss the patterns of development. Right, for the lesson objectives, at the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify the different patterns of development, identify the features of each pattern of development, recognize the transitions that signal each pattern of development, and note the important parts of each pattern of development. But before I proceed to the content of this topic, I would like to give you a task to understand each sample text and analyze its pattern based on the definition provided in this video. So let's proceed. The logical arrangement of ideas is known as the pattern of development. The pattern helps you follow ideas easily and understand a text better. Having the ability to recognize it will help you distinguish major details from minor ones and predict ideas. So, in writing an academic essay or article, the technical aspects are highly valued. One of the technicalities or conventionalities in writing is to adhere to proper arrangement and structure of a text in order to convey ideas and information better. Hence, in reading, we can easily understand the message or meaning of the text if we know how to determine patterns that writers or authors they employed in their write-ups. We can easily or clearly see the flow of their ideas, thus being able to get their meaning. And there are different patterns by which ideas are developed. In determining the pattern of development of ideas in a text, note the signal words used. These signal words may help you identify the pattern of development, but it is more important that you understand the meaning of the text. So there are various types of patterns we can use depending on your purpose and what kind of information you want to convey in the text. And there are also linguistic cues or signal words in order to identify the pattern. So let's proceed to the first pattern, which is the definition. Using definition to develop an idea helps to clarify and explain concepts by answering the question, what does it mean? This pattern helps the information through the use of illustrations, examples, and descriptions. It may also include one or more different patterns. So this means that the pattern of definition elaborates the subject or concept presented in a text by giving its formal, functional, and operational definition, and other ways to explore the said subject or concept. And there are also signal words or linguistic cues that are present in this type of pattern. And this is the sample text of the pattern of definition. So let's proceed to exemplification. An exemplification pattern presents the general statement, then provides specific and concrete examples to expound on the main idea. Simply put, this pattern is used to provide an example of something. So this means that the structure of this pattern is that you start with the general idea of the text, then followed by specific details and ideas that expound the general topic. This means that you have to break down important components to discuss the general idea. And we also have signal words in order to identify this kind of pattern or the linguistic cues that are present in exemplification. And this is a sample text. And let's proceed to description, sensory and spatial. A descriptive pattern basically provides details on the idea by using either a sensory or spatial pattern. Through a sensory pattern, ideas are arranged based on one or all of the five senses. A spatial pattern, on the other hand, arranges ideas by location or physical space. So, this kind of pattern describes the appearance or what we observe through our senses. So, in description, we need to consider the texture, the aesthetics, the emotions invoked by the object, what you observe, what you see, and what you feel, and what you hear through your senses. And these are the signal words or the linguistic markers for description. And this is also the sample text. So let's proceed to chronology or procedure. A chronological pattern organizes ideas or events according to time. It can either be the form of a narration or a process. A narration sequences events in the order in which they occurred in time, while a process organizes details based on stages or steps. So this pattern refers to the correct arrangement of events and notions in according to time. And there's a chronological order of the events or a proper process of doing an action. So this means that there is a step-by-step process in order to perform or produce something or convey connected events. And these are the signal words or linguistic cues of this pattern. And this is also a sample text for narration or chronology of an event. And this one is for the process or procedure. So let's proceed to listing. A listing pattern organizes ideas using enumeration. Unlike a chronological pattern, listing does not require the items to be sequenced chronologically because it does have the element of time. It basically presents a series of items such as facts, examples, features, reasons, and tips that support a main idea. Make sure to pay attention to these essential aspects when writing down your notes. So listing is a part that enumerates examples and other characteristics of the concept being discussed in the paragraph. There is no correct arrangement of this pattern, just like chronology or procedure. However, lists should be labeled properly. And these are the signal words that are present in this type of pattern of development. And this is a sample text of listing. So let's proceed to comparison contrast. A comparison and contrast pattern organizes ideas based on how events, places, people, things, and concepts are similar to or different from one another. There are two ways on how ideas can be arranged. Separately, which involves describing one item first, followed by the second item, or side by side, which means discussing both items based on each point of comparison. So in this pattern, the commonalities and distinctions of the subjects or concepts being contrasted and compared to. So comparison points out the similarities while contrast points out the differences. And these are the signal words for comparing and contrasting. And this is a sample text. So let's proceed to classification and division. A classification pattern organizes ideas into categories or divisions based on criteria and standards. This pattern can be used when classifying people, objects, events, things, places, and other items. Make sure to always double check whether each term is undeniably part of a certain category. Avoid oversimplifying just so you may be able to assign something to a category as it may result in stereotyping. So this type of pattern presents groupings, types, classes, categories, and subcategories that constitute a concept presented in hierarchical order. So this means there is a hierarchical order of the classes. There are classes at the top, middle, or low. So this also means that those who share the same qualities and attributes are being grouped together. And this is a sample text. So let's proceed to cause and effect. A cause and effect pattern organizes details based on the cause, the reason, and the result or consequences of a certain phenomenon. This pattern may discuss both the causes and effects, the causes only or the effects only. So this kind of pattern explains how things happened, how events resulted to another events or escalated to complex events. So the ramification of an action or decision is being expressed in this type of pattern. The reason of existence of an object or event. And these are the signal words for causes and effects. And this is a sample text. So let's proceed to problem solution. A problem solution pattern organizes ideas into problems and proposed solutions. The problem section usually includes the what, who, when, where, why, and how of the problem. The other part then presents the major effects of the problem and the possible solutions to address it, as well as the steps in implementing the solution. Note down these parts when you encounter a problem solution text. So this is a type of pattern is functional when you are going to propose possible solutions to problem and you need to defend your proposal. So you have to present facts in order to support your claims. You have to prove that your solution is the best alternative. So this kind of pattern usually starts with a negative tone and then followed by a positive one. Since it starts with the problem, then it ends with solution. So these are the signal words for this pattern. And this is also the sample text. And the last pattern is persuasion. A persuasion pattern organizes ideas to show how a set of evidence leads to a logical conclusion or argument. Specifically, this pattern presents the issue, the position, and the supporting evidence that supports the position. Make sure to check these three essential elements while reading a persuasion text. So, persuasion is a type of argumentative essay or just like thesis evidence. It contains thesis statement which represent the main point or primary argument of the text, while the other details or information are supporting evidence to expound and substantiate stand or position of the writer. The main purpose is to convince readers to believe in a stand, position, or cause. That is why this is argumentative in nature. And there are signal words for emphasizing a point, for concluding and summarizing, for conceding a point, and this is also the sample text of persuasion. And thank you for watching the video. I hope that you analyze the text for a meaningful learning experience while watching this video.